And we're recording.
Hello, welcome to the final summer 2018 stand-up for Gray Area. This is August the 17th. So what we're going to do, since this is our final stand-up, we're going to go around, and instead of our usual, we are going to talk about the thing that we had the most trouble with during the semester, how we overcame the difficulties that task presented, and then kind of what our each individual takeaway, what we learned the most, what we were most proud of, that we accomplished in this semester as individuals. So Marcos can start us off.
So I think the most difficult thing for me this semester was just figuring out what props were good to go and what weren't. Still wasn't getting as much feedback as I wanted, so it really just came down to me just pushing through and just doing what I could until someone told me to stop. So most of it was just a gut reaction of what I needed to get done, and for the most part I think I got a lot of stuff done over the course of the semester, and I think that's about it.
Hello, my name is Kylie Atkins. The most difficult part I had throughout this semester was creating the textures for the small details in the environment. I overcame this by getting some help from a more experienced person and talking to my professors about it. So that was good. My largest takeaway from this project was how to create the really small environment details, such as like grasses and plants, because we didn't quite go over that too much in class. So overall, I think that's it.
Well, I would say the most thing I had trouble with was the event system, because of getting the directories and stuff, how that's supposed to function, how he had it, and how we were supposed to take from it or whatever. And then Charles explaining it to me, telling me how all the directory stuff actually functioned, how everything in the world functions, how it queues up and stuff, it made it so much easier to understand. And the sad part is that we didn't use that much of it, so I mean, and I think that was mostly after just understanding a different system to use, to just using the game manager all the time. You could have stuff, certain items, queued or not queued, that are events that not happening. So like if you open a door or whatever, it does that stuff. It doesn't have to be always accessing, you don't have that one singleton accessing everything and managing that stuff. And I never did that, so I thought it was, just that was a good insight, doing something different.
Well, my name's Travis. So what was the hardest thing, or the hardest, most difficult task this semester was mostly with the character pathing, because the characters would get stuck on basically anything that wasn't flat. So the way I tried to fix it was by trying to flatten the areas as best I could to actually make them walk around it. For the most part, it worked. But they still kind of got stuck on random things, and that kind of got annoying. But my biggest takeaway was actually with learning more about level design and things like that, since that's something I want to do in the future. So I think I learned a lot from this experience this semester.
I'm Garrett Inn. Probably for me, this hardest thing this semester was probably learning motion capture. I went into it not knowing really what to expect or how to really do it, but thankfully I had Lynn teach me. She's a great teacher. That process, it's simple when you put it down to a list, but when you actually get into it, there are so many things that can go wrong. Specifically the models that we were using, and shout out to Donald's friend Molly,
Molly.
Yeah. God, I could not really done my job without her. But for the most part, the biggest takeaway is I now have something that I can pursue as an alternate route to a career. That's about it.
For me, the hardest thing I think was getting us to the point where we had a clear idea of what our core gameplay loop was going to be, and that was a lot of conversation. It was a lot of bridging where Doug and Daryl's knowledge existed, and then bridging that to what we needed from them as far as having kind of a cohesive, unified idea of what we're building towards, and kind of essentially acting as the bridge of communication. But we were ultimately able to get that done. And then, I mean, once we had that done, we started flying as far as all the other work we were doing on the team. My biggest takeaway for this semester, it's a good question, because there was no big revelations for me. It's kind of more specific to the individuals on the team. I now know a lot more about each and every one of you, what you guys can accomplish, what you're best at, what you're worst at. And so it's less of a larger revelation for me, but just a kind of more files in the filing cabinet of understanding people's strengths and weaknesses on the team, which should serve me partially well, since we're going to have some of you guys coming back as interns, others in the class. But yeah, it was kind of a big takeaway for me. For Charles, Deshaun, Frank, and Ariana, they're all not here, but I mean, I imagine if you look back through all the other stand-ups, you can see the stuff that they were always bringing up that they were working on. That was probably their most difficult stuff, and they each had different ways to figure out how to move forward. It was a lot of mentorship through different people that I was able to put them into contact with. And then, yeah, as a team as a whole, I think it's just another 15 weeks of honing craft and just getting more hours under the belt. That was hopefully very useful for everybody. I think of everybody, Garrett got the least value out of it, because that's not his kind of career path. But as you said, it's an alternate for you now, and also gives you a wider toolbox than a lot of other programmers. Hopefully that was very useful for you. That's pretty much it for this final stand-up. We will resume in the new semester in September.